Welcome to the Garth Riley Show. Good to have you with us. Well, if you are working through this new economy, trying to figure out how to get more with what you have, one thing you should probably consider is doing incentive and meeting travel. And I'll tell you why, because I've been around industry for a long time, and I've seen, especially on the sales organization or on a distributor side, when something has been put forward to me at a time when I'm maybe feeling that I don't really have it in me, when someone dangles a little bit of that carrot to say you can have a wonderful trip, I kind of go, I think it's possible, and the results flow. My guest today from Crone Travel actually say that they can actually help you get there as a business and help create that environment so that you can actually help your employees or your distributors get more for what they're already doing. Is give it a little extra push. That's really what you guys do. Karen and Peter join me from Crone Travel. Good to have you.
Thanks
Hi.
for having us.
It is what you do, right?
That's right, yes.
You kind of put some gas on the fire.
Well, we try and make something special that the client can offer to their sales staff or their distributors that they couldn't get there on their own. So it makes it a little bit more appealing than just your regular run-of-the-mill trip.
It's one of those things when you take a look at this idea of taking a trip. First of all, it's nice to go somewhere other than to the relatives. But if you're going to go somewhere, it's about the experience that you get when you go somewhere. Let's face it, today with the internet, it's kind of changed industry a bit, hasn't it? When the internet really started to come alive around 2005, 2006, especially social media wise, is that it kind of changed your industry a bit, right? Because people now could find out more.
Oh yeah, most definitely. They come to us with a great deal of knowledge now, but that just helps us in what we do.
Let's talk a little more about what you do, Peter. After 25 years of being in this industry, you've certainly seen the changes of this. Corporations, incentive travel, it's been around a long time. 25 years ago, I went on some trips that I qualified for.
Oh, I think it's been around forever, but it's not that common for travel agencies to get involved in this kind of a business. There's a lot of large incentive house type companies that handle big, huge incentives, but the small to medium-sized business has not really been serviced. And we made a decision several years ago that we've got the travel background, which is just a small part of incentive travel, and we decided, well, we've got that part, and we educated ourselves and learned as much as we can about that business, and it was just a natural fit for us. So
it seems like it's more than just getting them there. I mean, gone are the days of making the phone call. Okay, got a cheap flight to Florida.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing for us is negotiating everything for them ahead of time. That's where we come into play. So we will work with the suppliers, we will work with the airlines, we will work with the hoteliers. Not only will we get you the best value and best deal that we can for what you're looking for, but we'll also get those extra special items for you. Say you're having a dinner event in the hotel and you're going to the restaurant. Well, you're not just going to go in and sit with everybody else. You're going to have a private dining room. You're going to have menus with your logo on it. You're going to have, the extra special service, maybe the ice sculpture with your logo, something like that. We can arrange all that for you.
Some people would never really think about doing that. I mean, once you've experienced it, it's kind of nice. But, you start talking like this, business owners say, well, I can figure out to do that. But they don't. Most business owners really need to be focused on running their business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They need an expert to help them with it. And a lot of small companies especially try to do it themselves and try to book a package holiday and just sort of send all their people down to the beach and just enjoy themselves. And well, we try to make it very unique and different and customized to their exact needs.
But how do you get it into someone's head, like a small business owner that really with the internet where it is today? How do you get it in their head that really going through a service that you're providing is worth the fee to do that?
Because basically what has to happen is you want a trip so that when they come back, the individuals on that trip say, wow, was that something? That was special. That was unique. That was different. They may have even been to that, let's say it's the Bahamas. They may have been 5 times before, but they've never been and they've never done that activity, or they've never, and they realize that, hey, I want to go again. Well, how do they go again? Sell more.
Yeah, and they start working as soon as they get back home. So your feeling from the trip doesn't end when you get home and unpack your suitcase. It continues on. There's the camaraderie in the office or with the coworkers, and then do you remember? Did you get the pictures from that day or whatever? So that you're just continuing that positive feedback all the way through the year to work towards the next year's. Mm-hmm. And then, next year, how are you going to top that? Well, that's where we come into play, because that's where our expertise is.
And the bottom line is, it's all great, it's exciting, it's fun, it's different, but let's say you're the president, the owner of the company. We all know that the numbers are what they look at. So what they want to look at is that next year, did sales increase? I spent X amount for this incentive. It has to drive sales. It has to drive productivity. They have to get that return on investment.
Interesting enough, I guess in today's market, if you really hold your market share, it should be almost considered a win today.
Yeah.
You know, if you're able to keep, I mean, we always want to look about growth, but
Sure.
if you're able to, I'm just going to say from a business point of view, if you held, you did more than some companies, because a lot of companies are sliding back.
Yeah.
The number one thing is the human factor. You know, we can buy a widget, we can, you know, we got lights, we got cameras sitting in a studio, all of that stuff works. The internet, for example, is over 5,000 days old, and it's never taken a day off sick. But the bottom line is we're talking about people here. And it's about the people quotient that really drives and propels business today. It's about their care and concern and consideration of the people, their clients, or the people that they service. And you can't do it when you're working just because you got a job. It doesn't seem to sell well, no matter what the economic climate is. You know, today, I'm going to throw a question towards this, is that how in this economy today do you feel that incentive and meeting, this planning service that you create, that you have, why is it important for companies today?
I think it's more important than ever for companies today, because the economy being what it is, you want to do everything you can to keep up the morale of your sales staff and also incentivize them to go out and, you know, sell their product, interface with their customers as much as possible, get the message out there, and this is going to help them to do that. And you may have an incentive trip that's just purely an incentive and purely a vacation type one, or you can have it combined with meetings, so that while you're on site on the incentive, you can also be, you know, doing your new product launch, your new product training, your sales training, your team building, and add all that into the program so that you get more out of it.
Is that common today, Peter? Are you seeing companies doing a double whammy?
Absolutely, it's very common. We've got several clients that launch new products. That's one of the biggest things. What a great way to launch a new product. Get everybody out of the office in a relaxed atmosphere, or to do training. You know, beat sitting in the boardroom on the
hotel room.
54th floor of your office. You know, let's combine half a day, and then we go out and we go on a kayak adventure for the other half day.
Right.
I mean, fantastic.
What's been the most surprising thing about, you know, your evolution going from this travel agency, really what you were, to this? What was the most exciting or most amazing thing that, you know, Karen, you look like you got a story there.
Well, I think the most amazing thing is that we actually switched over with the biggest meeting we've ever run, which was about 400 people. It was in Toronto, and you know, we got a phone call from a client saying, oh, I have this association that I deal with, and they want to hold a meeting in Toronto. Can you handle it for me? And I said, yeah, sure. And then hung up the phone and then figured out how to do it.
Came into my office and said, guess what we're doing?
Really?
Beautiful. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, and then
You
from
have to
there,
start somewhere.
we caught the bug, and it was so exciting. It was so different. It used the skills that we had already and then expanded them. So it was, you know, learning about it and being on site and being the person behind the scenes, being the person that's doing all the organizing it and checking all the details. That's where I excel, and that's what I find really exciting about it.
I heard you're quite the detail taskmaster. Nobody knows messes with you at the office.
Absolutely. I think we did one thing right on that, which we've kept up ever since, is
What's
that we
that?
knew that we sent Karen on site. Like, we knew enough about the business. I mean, we were newbies at it at that time, but we sent her there, and well, yeah, she came back with all kinds of stories, and you wouldn't believe this, and you wouldn't believe what goes on behind the scenes and what we have to do to make this run smoothly.
Right.
And we have stuck to that. It doesn't matter what size. That was 500 people. We've done a group as small as 12, where we've insisted to the client that no, we have to be on site.
We'll talk more about why being on site's important, how it changes the atmosphere and the outcomes just by being there. It's kind of like being a parent, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. We're going to go to break. We'll come back and talk about it. Stay with us. We're going to be talking more about why as a business you want to consider maybe incentive travel to actually up the performance versus thinking it'd be an expense. It's probably an investment. Stay with us when the Garth Roddy Show comes back with the people from Crone Travel.